Welcome to this week's End of Days Update, coming to you from Wirtz, Virginia. We had such a great time in the service tonight here. If you can, tomorrow night we'll be back again at Wirtz, Virginia. And we had such a great time last weekend in North Carolina. People were so hungry for end times. It is so awesome to see people catch it, the fire of God that Jesus is just about to come back. So with the End of Days Update, we come every week looking at what happened this last week in Israel. Because, gosh, there were some things that happened a couple weeks ago. I've not seen one report of it, even some things that happened last weekend. So we look at what's happening around Israel that points to the coming of the Lord, specifically the things about the Ezekiel 38 war, because the rapture is signless. So if you can see what happens right afterwards, you can tell we're very close. So a bunch of stuff keeps happening. Of course, Syria fired missiles from Syria into the Golan Heights at Israeli troops. Israel retaliated with fighter planes and went and took those launching sites. Actually, they were mobile launching sites, took those out. You don't hear much about that, but really the interesting thing was Israel went back again into Syria, right by Damascus, and took out huge caches of weapons. What it was Iran has been flying 747 three times last week into Syria, unloading 747s full of Iranian equipment, weaponry. And Israel has said, you keep doing that and we'll keep knocking it out. Israel keeps knocking it out. Remember, maybe 3 months ago, Russia said, if you do that again, we're going to take you out, and Russia's not done a thing. So that's been very cool to see that not happening. You had Turkey this week once again announced their alignment with Russia about the S-400 missile defense system. So all the things are setting up for those nations around Israel for what they need to do to try to annihilate Israel, but we know that won't happen. We know that in Ezekiel 38 war, God pushes Russia back, says that the heathen may know that he's God. Many more things keep happening. You had in the Knesset, you had a member of the Knesset say, we need to have the Torah as law. We need to have moral rights in our land here. So you see more politicians pushing toward what Israel originally was founded on. I like that on the Temple Mount this last weekend, there was really no info about this at all, but there was basically a battle on the Temple Mount. The Jews that went up on the Temple Mount, normally the police wouldn't let them go. Police let them go right on up there, and the Palestinians started throwing chairs off the Temple Mount at the Jews. So they should have a right to getting up on the Temple Mount, because they're even announcing, Islam is, they're going to build another mosque on the Temple Mount. So get ready for more agitation and more confusion about that. Probably another one of the things that we talked about a few weeks ago is the peace plan coming from America. It's weird to hear all these different groups come out against it when it hasn't even been revealed yet. Jared Kushner's there talking with different countries, getting people ready for that. And really what's coming out from that is they're saying it's going to be an economic solution. And I said that a few weeks ago. That's probably the most interesting thing I've heard from there, because that's exactly what the Antichrist is going to do. This is probably a forerunner to the final agreement that will bring financial blessing to the Palestinians. It's easy for people to turn down certain things because they know they're going to be financially blessed. Even in the middle of all this, you had in Gaza them firing more rockets into Israel, and Israel gave up more fishing rights to the Palestinians in Gaza. So Israel's even giving after they're bombing them continually from the south. In the middle of all that, Israel destroyed the last Hezbollah tunnel from Lebanon down into Israel. 260 some odd feet of tunnels they've been digging to try to come in and attack Israel. So one thing after another they're getting caught at. So more things are happening that point to what's going to happen right after we leave. So event after event after event. Now you had 400 earthquakes in the Inland Empire in California this last week. That's a pretty big deal, because they're all saying that the big one could be coming soon. So you got earthquakes, you got floods, you got Israel in position, you got Russia doing what they say they would do, along with their flybys of what they did up in Alaska. We don't have time to even get into all that, but we're just privileged to watch it happen right in front of our eyes. So what do we do as Christians? We look at the Scripture, because the Word is flawless. Jesus said, the generation that sees Israel made a nation and Jerusalem won back, he said that generation won't pass away till all is fulfilled. Then you got the Hebrew language restored, you got the Ethiopian Jews brought back, you got the fertility of the land of Israel. I mean, all of these things. You got the Temple Mount Institute. You have 172 different species of predatory birds. All these things that the Bible said you'd see right before he comes. The one I really like is Ezekiel said there'd be fish in the Dead Sea. That happened this year, prophesied 2,700 years ago. So you got all that, and then you got the signals. You had blood red moons on Passover and Tabernacles, 4 in a row, 1967, 1948. Crazy. The Bethlehem Star this last year. I mean, God's going out of his way to tell people, I'm about to come back. So, what is it? It's the entrance of the King. Many more celestial events. You had the Bethlehem Star. You had Mercury do a flyby of the sun. Went down directly over the Temple Mount at sundown. The planets formed a sickle. The moon formed a sickle. Orion changed its instrument to hammer. You had hammer and sickle on the same day. So you've gone from tangible physical signs to signals in the heavens. Why? Jesus is just about to come back. Man, get ready for things from Turkey. Watch what will happen with Turkey in the next few months, and watch what happens with Syria and Israel. Now, I said last week about German intel, talked about Iran was trying to rebuild weapons of mass destruction. It came out this last week. The Germans got intelligence that Iran was purchasing equipment to make sure they could do weapons of mass destruction. So Iran's doing what the Bible said they do. Russia's doing what the Bible said they do. Israel's doing what the Bible said they do. There's this gathering of people back there with Jerusalem one back and Israel being made a nation. So all of the scriptures are come to pass. So what do we do as a church? You help your local church, help your local pastor. You volunteer, you do whatever I can to get the message out. Jesus is just about to come. How privileged are we that we're going to see his eyes as a flame of fire, feet like undefined brass, voice of many waters. Man, the rapture of the church, we're going to see Jesus so soon. We have a lot to do in a short period of time, so that's what we do. Come back next week and we'll look at what's happening around Israel. We'll see what's taking place that points to the grand event, and that's Jesus coming back. Have a blessed, awesome week. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Thanks for joining us today at the End of Days Update. If you'd like to be notified every time there's a new post, just go to the EDU at josephmorris.com and subscribe to receive email alerts. If these posts and updates have been a blessing to you, please consider making a one-time donation to help get the message out, or even becoming a monthly partner with Joseph Morris Ministries. Thanks again for tuning in to the EDU, and we'll see you next week.